Bringing you up-to-the-minute news in local and international maritime trade, this is Nimasa This Week. Hello and welcome. My name is Iretiola Doyle. The DG of Nimasa, Mr. Ziakede Patrick Akpoblokemi, yesterday, Wednesday, the 23rd day of July 2014, addressed a world press conference in Lagos to reiterate the agency's commitment to facilitating accelerated growth within the nation's maritime sector. Captain Ezekiel Bala Agaba represented the DG of Nimasa. He also gave an account of Mr. Akpoblokemi's stewardship as the chief custodian of Nigeria's maritime domain. He also seized the opportunity to bring the general public up to date with some of the laudable initiatives by Nimasa to ensure a safe and secure maritime environment. This highly successful and well-attended media parley forms the focal point of today's edition of the show. Our correspondent Rachel Ubani reports.
In fulfillment of its obligations to keep the Nigerian public and other foreign stakeholders abreast of the activities of the agency, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, organized a World Press Conference on Wednesday in Lagos. The presentation, which is an annual event, recorded a huge turnout from journalists from local and international media organizations. Presenting his scorecard, the Director General, Nigeria Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, Mr. Ziakede Patrick Akpoblokemi, represented by the Executive Director, Maritime Safety and Shipping Development, Captain Ezekiel Agaba, said tremendous progress has been recorded in the areas of human capacity development, emphasizing on the success of the Nigerian Seafarers Development Program (NSDP), the Nigerian Maritime University, and the Nimasa Shipyard and Dockyard.
The agency places emphasis on human capacity development for the present and the future, mindful of its critical role in exploiting the potential of the sector. I am glad to inform you that under the Nigerian Seafarers Development Program (NSDP), which started 5 years ago, over 2,500 young Nigerians have benefited on our currently enjoying various levels of sponsorship in schools in the United Kingdom, Egypt, Romania, India, and the Philippines. This administration has tailored a long-term solution to the debt of qualified professionals in the Nigerian maritime sector. Hence, it conceived the Nigerian Maritime University. The university will produce high-level manpower for Nigeria's maritime/shipping sector on a sustainable basis. It will provide training for seafarers, master mariners, marine engineers, naval architects, nautical scientists, and other specialized maritime shipping trading skills.
Captain Agaba adds that the agency has given priority attention to both infrastructural and human capital development, dwelling on the domestication of the Maritime Labour Convention 2006, which has brought the nation local and international recognition.
You will recall that His Excellency President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan also performed the groundbreaking ceremonies for the Nimasa Shipyard and Dry Dock, also located in Okerekoko. Our vision is to transform the maritime sector into an industry that will generate capable local manpower, which will contribute significantly to the nation's gross domestic product.
Captain Agaba noted that the agency has enjoyed improved operational and enforcement capability as a result of its public-private partnership project, which has given birth to the process of actualizing a national carrier line.
The MSC 2006 is now fully operational in Nigeria, and enforcement has started in earnest with applicable sanctions for defaulters. Nimasa has vigorously pursued compliance with ISPS code. These results are indeed tremendous, and the highlights include the following. 22 port facilities in Nigeria are now fully compliant with the ISPS code, as confirmed by the recent visit with our partners, the U.S. Coast Guard.
I would like to know questions bordering on the national carrier line Employment opportunities for qualified cadets and sea time training dominated the session, and Captain Agaba was apt in his response.
Nimasa has also been at the forefront in bringing alive the public-private partnership PPP initiative that has been very productive under the government of President Goodluck Jonathan. It is based on this premise that the agency is working at actualizing the establishment of a national carrier line. The national carrier line will re-establish the presence of Nigerian flag in international waters, providing training and retraining of all Nigerian seafarers, while also serving as a catalyst for shipping development in the country with a resultant positive impact on the nation's economy.
Nimasa, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency. For Obonga shipping registration, no. Nimasa, commercial shipping, no. Nimasa, maritime labor,
the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, the nation's maritime watchdog, established to promote maritime safety, security, commercial shipping, and regulate maritime pollution. Nimasa is well positioned and committed to take the development and standardization of Nigeria's maritime industry to greater heights. Are you interested in the local or international commercial shipping business or in seafaring and do not know what to do or how to go about it? Nimasa will guide and see you through. Sea pirates, oil thieves, and all forms of dubious and illegal business on Nigeria's maritime domain have no hiding place, because Nimasa's eagle eyes will locate or catch up with you. For Nimasa, it is zero tolerance to sea pollution, as all abandoned ships and wrecks on Nigeria's waterways which pose danger to sea transportation will be cleared. Nimasa, promoting safe and secure maritime environment.
Present at the World Press Conference were prominent stakeholders in the maritime sector, as well as key management staff of the agency. To further educate stakeholders on the effectiveness of Nimasa's satellite surveillance system, the Director of Shipping Development, Captain Waredi Eneso, performed a brief presentation on the functionality of this high-tech device. Once again, Rachel Ubani has that story for you.
The issue of safety of lives and property is a significant prerequisite for the growth and investment in any institution, sector, or society. This is why maritime safety and security is never compromised by Nimasa. The high point of the World Press Conference was the presentation on maritime safety by the Director Shipping Development Nimasa, Captain Waredi Eneso, taking journalists through a historical perspective of piracy, some maritime crimes contributing to insecurity on the waterways, and internal and external factors militating against safety on Nigeria's maritime domain. Captain Waredi stressed that these factors spurred the need for partnership to address these problems.
There are some international conventions and local bills enhancing maritime security for us. The SUA Convention is one for which Nigeria has ratified it as well, though the protocols remain so. The SOLAS Convention, with the new amendments, seafarers are now required to undergo maritime security training. And the ISPS code as well, which the Safety Department works so hard to ensure its practical appliance. Then there is also a bill being sponsored known as the Anti-Piracy Bill, which hopefully will soon see the light of day. So how did we come around this? We had to have an MOU with quite a lot of these people, from the Nigerian Navy right to the Nigerian Air Force, and that of Customs and Immigration we're looking at, while the Civil Defense is already with us.
The birth of the Satellite Surveillance Center, according to Captain Waredi, which was launched last month, has facilitated speedy response to any distress call on Nigerian waters and beyond. Explaining the functions of Nimasa with the assets available to the agency and statistics of attacks recorded so far, Captain Waredi summarized the presentation with a categorical statement that the satellite surveillance system was the solution to fighting crime on the waterways.
This is the satellite system we have, and as the ship leaves Europe, you can see everything is green because he doesn't want to see his own people. And that's how it appears on our system as well. Meanwhile, out of our own region, our normal ships that do not have the AIS will be the ones that carry the oil for them. There's no requirement for that ship to carry an AIS, so it's not a problem for now. They send a signal back that they're coming, and you see the foreign ship also is switched off the signal. It turns red. The system here in Lagos will tell us there's a relationship between two of them. So this is what we plan to do, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to escort them into Nigeria. We're going to allow the lawyers to kiss them or kick them.
How many seafarers do we have? A lot of them are aging, and it is on this background we have decided to continuously train hundreds and thousands of our youths to bridge the gap. In the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years, the problems associated with lack of seafarers should be a thing of the past. At least in Africa, we should beat our chest and say we have the greatest number of manpower in the maritime industry.
The World Press Conference, without a doubt, drew a throng of journalists from both in and outside our shores. And many of these journalists seized the opportunity to bear their minds on the activities of the agency and also to assess Nimasa's efforts in transforming the nation's maritime sector. Are you curious to know what these journalists had to say? Well, you might just have to wait a teeny-weeny bit, but I promise you, after the break, we'll be bringing you a cross-section of their views.
The importance of feedback to the success of any program cannot be underscored. Against this backdrop, a cross-section of journalists were asked to rate the presentation and proffer suggestions for the way forward. The response was unanimous, and the general verdict was Nimasa had fared well.
To whom much is given, much is expected. Their scorecard, they have done well based on the graph that was shown. But like we said, our economy is at sea. And whatever that we need to do to shore up our economy, we should do. Piracy, as far as I'm concerned, is dropping gradually, unlike what we had in the past. We used to have regular attacks, but with the presence of Nimasa vessels at sea, coupled with some naval personnel on board, I think they've been able to tackle the issue of piracy to a manageable level.
The effort of Nimasa to improving maritime security in Nigeria, that is, we've gone supersonic. I'm really impressed with the 4D security and surveillance, whatever they've done, because it's not really easy. You know, it shows you that this country have the potential to produce the best and the first in the whole world.
I would suggest that capacity building, they should work on that, and also on maritime safety. They should work on that also.
Nimasa has become a global brand through the activities and operations. So what I want to suggest is that more funds should be made available for this war against piracy and oil theft to be pursued to its logical conclusion.
Nimasa is taking the bull by the horn. Obviously, from the press conference and from what I've seen on the field, things are looking up for Nigeria in terms of maritime administration. Under this management, for the first time, we are having a wholly sponsored NSDP program, full scholarship. We are also having more or increased surveillance of the Nigerian maritime domain. The awareness of the Nigerian maritime domain has increased. And the things we are seeing now, things we are anticipating, are also giving us hope that there is a ray of light at the end of the tunnel.
The Special Assistant to the DG Nimasa, Felix Bob Nabena, and the Head of Public Relations Nimasa, Mr. Isichei Osangbi, rounded off the session with a few remarks about the performance of Nimasa.
Looking at from where we're coming from and with the current administration and in line with the transformation agenda of Mr. President, you will agree with that. Truly indeed, this agency have moved tremendously to greater heights with respect to our scorecard now.
With a combination of the air power, the sea power, and the satellite gadgets, we just want to tell our story today emphatically that the days of illegal activities on our maritime waters are over. And we're not missing words about that. We're going to continue to improve on it and see how we can possibly even get better to be able to provide support where necessary to maybe our neighbors if that will further enhance our safety.
From the overwhelming comments of media practitioners and stakeholders who attended the World Press Conference vis-à-vis the milestones covered by Nimasa as revealed during the presentation, it will not be out of place to say that the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency deserves a pat on the back.
I'm very impressed with what the President Director General of Nimasa is doing, because they seem more focused and they feel very determined. But above all, I love the program I see on television where they also try to sensitize Nigerians on what actually is going on. And this is the first time that kind of innovation has come into the sector. So I commend the efforts of the present leadership of Nimasa. And I know that because they are sensitizing the public, they will have more collaboration, and then the public will now be in a position to make more suggestions for a more effective Nimasa. So I'm very proud of what I'm seeing.
It's still Nimasa this week. Don't go away. We'll be back after the break.
Nimasa this week, the authoritative voice in the maritime sector. Officials from the United States Office of Security Corporation were in the corporate head office of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency Nimasa on a working visit. The team was received by the management staff of the agency led by the Director General Nimasa, Mr. Ziakede Patrick Akpoblekemi, the Executive Director Maritime Safety and Shipping Development, Captain Bala Agaba, Director Shipping Development Nimasa, Captain Waridi Eniswo, amongst others. The team from the United States Coast Guard met with the officials of Nimasa to explore ways to foster a better collaboration in the areas of enhancing security on Nigerian waters. Commodore Michelle Bass of the Legal Engagement Division of the United States Coast Guard and the leader of the team noted that collaboration between countries is required to fight all criminalities on the waterway, particularly the fight against piracy and armed robbery at sea. According to Commodore Bass, this collaboration is coming as a result of the American government's desire for progressive allies among the top maritime nations of the world. While welcoming the visitors, the Director General of Nimasa, Mr. Ziakede Patrick Akpoblekemi, noted that the interest shown by the U.S. Coast Guard to collaborate with Nimasa to fight crime and terrorism in the sub-regional waterways is a welcome development, as this will curb crime in the maritime domain and boost trade and investment for both countries.
A protocol that is going to be endorsed by the international community, particularly the IMO too, and present this thing before our governments for ratification. Once it has been approved, for instance, if I have to chase a vessel that has committed a crime here with the maritime administration over there in Benin Republic, Cameroon, or whatever, we just get things straight, easily done without so much bureaucracy, because maritime crimes are time-bound crimes.
Speaking further, Mr. Akpobolokaimi explained the functions of Nimasa as the apex maritime regulatory body in the country and stated that the responsibilities of the U.S. Coast Guard were similar to the mandates of Nigeria's Maritime Guard Command. The Director General also highlighted the statutory ground for the establishment of the Maritime Guard Command and the government's intentions for attaching the command to the agency.
That Nimasa, in course of its assignment, can partner with any government agency, including the Navy, the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Air Force, name them. Now, we in Nimasa, or the Nimasa Act, do not specifically allow us to bear arms. Instead of forming the arms wing in Nimasa, why not we collaborate with the military in Nigeria as permitted by law? So the government gave approval that Nimasa, in spite of the fact that it is still in the act that established Nimasa, we are giving a further blessing, you go ahead, so that the Maritime Guard Command can be domiciled in Nimasa to address security concerns, particularly if it has to do with protection of life or property, particularly at sea.
The visit from the United States Office of Security Corporation will integrate the American model to fit the Nigerian system. The team had earlier met with the Nigerian Navy, the EFCC, and the Ministry of Defense. This visit is coming ahead of Nigeria's entry and participation in the African Maritime Law Enforcement Partnership, AMLEP. The AMLEP program enables African partners work directly with the United States Naval Forces in an operational environment in the partners' own home waters. Nimasa this week, the authoritative voice in the maritime sector.
Up next is the news segment of Nimasa this week.
Truck owners' maritime agencies partner to decongest vehicular queues at the Apapa ports. A lasting solution to the lingering long queues from the Apapa ports all the way to the Mile 2 Apapa axis of Lagos occasioned by the uncoordinated activities of truck drivers is finally on the way as stakeholders have agreed to a truck call-up system that will free up this and other Apapa roads. Federal government extends deadline on Warri Port concession. The National Council on Privatization has approved the extension of the closing date for the submission of expressions of interest by prospective investors in concession of Terminal B Warri Old Port. This is according to a statement issued by the Public Communication Bureau of Public Enterprise (BPE). The federal government has said that the prospective concessionaires must be experienced local or international operators who will be required to manage and operate the terminal for a minimum period of 25 years with the option of renewal. IMO develops an international code of safety for ships operating in polar waters, Polar Code. IMO is developing a draft mandatory international code of safety for ships operating in polar waters to cover the full range of design, construction, equipment, operational training, search and rescue, and environmental protection matters relevant to the ships operating in the inhospitable waters surrounding the two poles. The code will require ships intending to operate in the defined waters of the Antarctic and Arctic to apply for a polar ship certificate and a polar water operational manual.
All right, this is the time in the show when we go trawling through our email box to bring you answers to questions that we have determined to be some of the most frequently asked on our show. And this week, we begin like this.
Our frequently asked question for this week is, what does the domestication of the MLC 2006 portend for the maritime sector in the country?
One, you are going to have a fulfilled and a very productive seafaring. You are going to have ship owners that will begin to have return on investment and a very conducive basis to operate. Because where you have a satisfied workforce with the tremendous backing of government, as a friend and as a regulator, it will impact very heavily and positively on the sector. So we expect that it should be able to energize the maritime sector positively for the benefit of the country, the benefit of the seafarer, and the benefit of the ship owner.
Without a doubt, under the stewardship of the current DG of Nimasa, Mr. Zakede Patrick Apolukemi, the agency has done tremendously well. Well done. More grease to your elbows. Now, please don't forget, Nimasa This Week is an interactive show. We want to respond to your comments, your questions, and even your criticisms. All you need to do is to send an email to the address currently showing on your screen. Now, I will be here, same time, same station next week. Until then, we're wishing you smooth sailing and bon voyage.